We will no longer aid and abet the federal government's refusal to enforce our laws. It's time we stop catering to lawbreakers and instead turn our attention to another group, one that has been neglected for too long. This group knows no ethnic, racial, religious, or economic divisions, and it crosses party lines. It is we the people, and we are called Americans. There is another issue. This one poses an imminent threat to our local sovereignty and private property rights. Our commissioners are enabling a new unelected bureaucracy to redistribute our tax dollars and resources to surrounding counties. This will infringe on our local sovereignty and our power to govern ourselves. This is part of the progressives' fundamental transformation of America, from a free people to something much less. Unfortunately, my Republican opponents support some policies which are consistent with this effort, whereas I have worked tirelessly to oppose this. These are serious issues, but by electing someone who is knowledgeable, who possesses the intestinal fortitude to take a stand, and who will fight for our constitutional way of life, we will taste freedom and economic prosperity again. My opponents will take us in the wrong direction, one by wittingly driving the train, and the other by unwittingly meandering down the path. I assure you, however, that my eyes are open. I do not fear confrontation, and my compass points directly to the Constitution. We find ourselves at a crossroads, and from the very core of my being, I feel something big is about to happen. Whether the outcome is good or bad depends solely on us. The Republican Party has been poisoned by progressivism. The local poster child, Steve LaTourette, has actually formed a PAC, funded in part with union money, to specifically target conservative candidates within the Republican Party. Regardless of how he began, it is now clear that Steve LaTourette is a progressive, and one of my opponents has happily accepted his endorsement. As you know, I am the president of a local liberty group, an activist in local issues. I attend rallies, hold educational forums, and confront the threats to our freedom head on. In the course of these efforts, I have learned the structures, functions, and relationships between all levels of government. I have done everything in my power to create positive change in our governance, including voting for those who I hope will represent our values, which typically results in disappointment and frustration. I've come to realize that there is only so much I can do as a citizen, so I decided to run for office myself. Now you may hear my opponents say that I have no experience. If they mean in an elected office, that's true. So what does that mean? I have no experience raising our taxes. I have no experience giving away our jobs to illegal aliens. I have no experience saying one thing and doing another. I have no experience growing government at a rate that threatens our very future. As a realtor, I definitely have no experience trying to take away your property rights. And most importantly, I have no experience selling you out, and I never will. Your fight is my fight. To sell you out would be to sell myself out, and I have worked too hard for the cause of freedom to ever let that happen. We must now pull together to succeed. Will you join me? Then, as George Washington once said, let us raise a standard to which the wise and honest can repair, and the rest is in the hands of God. Thank you.
Okay, for our next speaker this evening, our candidate is George Phillips, who is running for state representative for the 60th District in Ohio. The 60th District encompasses most of the northwest portion of the county. George is a lifelong resident of Northeast Ohio. He's married, has 3 children. He's a small business owner, so he knows what it's like to run a business. He wants to take his common sense approach to Columbus to represent the good citizens of the 60th District. Please join me in welcoming our next state representative for the 60th District, George Phillips.
Good evening. Everybody hear me good? Yeah. Cool. First of all, before I formally begin, I want to apologize. I am way under the weather, and my cards are out there. If you have questions, comments, likes or dislikes, please come call me, email me. My door is always open. Thank you to Mr. Laughlin and the rest of the Liberty Coalition for inviting me here tonight. For those of you who don't know me, my name is George Phillips, and I am your candidate for the 60th District of the Ohio House of Representatives. House District 60 consists of Willoughby, Wickliffe, Eastlake, Timberlake, Lakeline, Mentor on the Lake, Mentor Ward 4 only, Grand River, Fairport Harbor, all of Painesville, and parts of Painesville Township. A little bit about me. I have a bachelor's degree in business, an MBA, with a concentration in public administration. I have 12 years private sector work experience, mostly in the healthcare and financial sectors. I have 4 years of public sector work experience. Most recently, I worked as the Council Services Coordinator for the inaugural Cuyahoga County Council. Now, last summer, I left the Cuyahoga County Council to pursue my dreams. After retirement, my father owned a small business on a part-time basis after he retired from the police force. This business offered service effectiveness enhancement training to small and large businesses. As he got older, my dad brought me into the company and we traveled across the country. He taught me the ins and outs of the company and we created lifelong memories. I cherish that time that I spent with my father. It taught me what it means to have dreams and the hard work needed to achieve those dreams. As my schedule got more demanding, I accompanied my father less and less. A few years ago, my father got sick, and in a blink of an eye, he was gone. Sorry. After his death, his company gave me a tangible piece of him to hold on to. So I fiddled with it. As I fiddled, kind of on the side, part-time, I began to see that the company had a lot more potential than he and I both realized. That potential led me to see the sense of pride and freedom that being a full-time small business owner would bring to my family and me. The desire to take the chance to do it full-time grew and grew. And finally, last August, I left my job at the council to pursue my dream and have the opportunity to pursue my other dream. So far, so good. In the past 7 months, there have been growing pains. My wife and I have added an economic forecasting and consulting division to the company.